3, 2, 1.
It's time for Chewing on the Wire Radio, losers.
No, God! No,
Oh,
God!
no biting.
No!
Hey, no biting. Okay? You want me to bite you? You know that hurts, Daddy. I told you, silly. No biting, okay?
Welcome back to another episode of Chewing on the Wire Radio. As always, I'm your host of this little paddle boat, SkiDz. I felt like I was gonna go all in with that intro there. Like, I should just start screaming and going at it, but because I felt as I was doing the tests for how loud, how to just the sound check, if you will. This is like one of the earliest shows we've had, and it's not that early. It's not that early, but normally, as you know, we don't do, Saturday mornings. So this is a very special Saturday morning one because I just didn't have it to be able to do one yesterday, last night. Not enough time in the day type of situation. Not enough station time, not enough my time. You know how it is. But anyway, we're back here today, special Saturday morning episode. It was a weird ass night too. I had one of those total just too tired from the week type of thing. And I ended up coming home yesterday, Friday, taking a nap, getting up, taking another nap, back and forth with naps. I think I got up for a minute, for a while. This is, what I'm getting at is, there were so many just from 4 o'clock to frickin' 4 a.m., naps in and out, and then I slept from, 4:30 to 8:30 or whatever it was. That I don't even remember what was the dream or not. I don't. I've got to I was waking up and seeing my phone, people were messaging me saying things. One of the people that I work with, I think she was texting me that she got into college, got into Ohio State. Congrats if that's real, or maybe that was a dream. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check later today. Because, again, I just woke up, then hopped on here to do this. Well, there was some open time in the airwaves type of thing. And if you could tell by that little thing we just had there, I did get my bell back. And I'm working on the whole entire soundboard thing. But every time we get new software, I think it becomes easier for me. I've never been wow, this software is horrible. Well, actually, that's a lie. One of the times. The reason we're on this software is because the last software that was supposed to do what this one's doing didn't work at all, and then tried charging us money for it. So, okay, one time. But, I can't figure out how to get that soundboard to work. I gotta play with it. We got our tech people here, but it's, all USB powered or just a normal, aux jack type of thing. You just plug it all up. It says in the instructions, put this where your headphone jack would normally be, but then put your headphone jack into the soundboard. It'll work the same because you can also run a microphone through it. But then you hook that all up and put the headphones on, and it's just like loud screeching. Like it sounds like the beginning of that freaking Slipknot song, like Scissors or whatever. And it's like, all right, so this isn't gonna work. Now that we're just on the same page here, this isn't gonna work. Hold on, I should have had this queued up. I'm freelancing right now, so I don't. So I wasn't ready to play this. Is this a song I'm thinking of? No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. Here, we'll find. What song was that? Oh, is it surfacing? Yeah. You get the point. It's Surfacing by Slipknot was the song I'm thinking about. That's what it sounds like as soon as you plug anything into that. Then the instructions are, one side's in, Chinese, but then the other side that's in English is like plug and play. It's the only words it has on it. I'm trying to wake myself up. Getting my drinkies on here. With that being said, as I normally say, we have not a lot to cover and a lot of time to cover it. So, let's get started, why don't we? Alright, first things first, though. I'm going to throw another little tune at you. I'm going to throw you a little song here. So let's get that going. I'll be right back with you. I'm still getting used to how this music thing is working, so I was, like, getting ready to fade that out, but then also, like, thinking about what I was gonna say. Is my mic on? Yeah. Thinking about what I was gonna say, then, like, staring into the abyss because I just woke up. So that was probably a sloppy intro and outro for that. I think I started it 2 seconds into the song. But you know what? We're still here. We're still doing our thing. In local news, I think I was supposed to, it probably should have been better to share this yesterday. Because it's happening literally right now, but I'll put a little twist on it right now. So, the shop, I don't want to call it the wrong thing. Oh, God, now I gotta Google this because I don't want to. Oh, that is what it was called. Really? Wow, okay, so, being brainwashed by today's, everything's offensive, so, Shop with a Cop in North Olmsted is going on right now. So if you want to commit a crime from literally right now, what time is it? Well, it started 27 minutes ago. From 9 a.m. to like 11 or noon, do it away from North Olmsted High School and the North Olmsted Walmart. The reason I said that I'm like brainwashed apparently by having to think twice to make sure something isn't offensive. I thought I heard that like cop is like an offensive, like it means, well, I like offend, like I don't want to bring up another example and accidentally just like say a slur, but like things that don't seem like they should be offensive, but secretly it was made because like it is actually supposed to be really offensive. So I'm kind of surprised that the police are labeling their event "Shop with a Cop" then, because like yeah. Anyway, that's going on. So, one thing I feel like I haven't plugged very much lately, I'm trying to figure out how to do an intro to this little thing here. So the way I'm going to do it is something I feel like... Now the bell is in an inopportune place, and I'm hitting it every time I move my arm. Anyway, something I feel like I haven't plugged very much recently is chewingonthewire.com. And I'm going to use that as my intro to this because I don't know how else to do an intro. On chewingonthewire.com, there is a fun little thing I'm doing just because I'm huge into the design and the whole process of design of like sports jerseys and how they change for special events. They have different people doing them, like even as high as like the NHL. They have different local people making jerseys for them for their like special theme nights and stuff like that. So I feel like things of that nature, when it comes to clothing, like those jerseys and specialty jerseys made by someone in your backyard, should probably be higher on the tier list of things that are kind of, I don't know how to say this, kind of like mainstream. Like I feel like even if it's not made by the local artist, even if it's made by someone at Nike's doing a lot of things where they're putting their feelers out there and asking someone in the community to make this jersey for this year type of thing. So I just think things like that should be out there in the community more, out there in the mainstream media more, as compared to like everyone's taking pictures and posting on whatever social media of their Louis Vuitton or their fucking Supreme crowbar or just crap like that. Just this bullshit crap. Just if you don't have money, you're not cool type of stuff. So I'm kind of in my own fun way. One of the little artsy photography things I'm doing is I am doing a series called Unrinked. And what that is basically candid photos of everyday life, people wearing their favorite team's jersey, just out in public. There's not really any sports involved. We have one of a Detroit Pistons jersey at, local diner lookalike, little coffee cup in front of them, reading a book, the whole thing like that. I'm in a lot of the photos because sometimes we kind of gotta, it is a gallery, it is a little art piece thing we're doing. So sometimes it is just me, because we gotta make it happen. You know, there's not a lot of people wearing San Antonio Spurs jerseys, and if we can't get to San Antonio, we kind of gotta make it happen. But then there are some kind of, we have Josh Dunn from 21 Pilots wearing his Columbus Blue Jackets jersey. Like, we do have some actual, like, posed, candid, and they're all kind of being, you know, taken on Polaroid lens type of things. I said they are Polaritic photos, fun word I came up with for that, but it's just a whole thing where it's like, instead of everyone posting how much money they have, how much this, that, blah, 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 let's get down to, hey, their sports are in the mainstream. Major League Sports are in the mainstream. They're using things made by local artists, though, so why don't we push that, you know, instead of, like I said, all this other crap that's being made for just billions of dollars on end type of thing. And that's kind of one you don't think about. They're always making money off stuff. Not to ever say they aren't, but it's one of those, when you think about what's in the mainstream, you have things like Louis Vuitton. As you can see, I'm stuck. I don't know more than Louis Vuitton and Supreme. And I feel like, is Gucci one of them? Like that movie that came out? It's like all this bull crap stuff. But then you have sports jerseys, and especially the minor league ones too. That's a mainstream thing. Everyone in your community knows about that. Everyone around knows about that. But it's made by someone in the community. Like, how cool is that? It could have the Nike swoosh on it, the Fanatics flag, and like a lot of those Heritage Night ones, especially again in the NHL, are made by someone in that community. I think that's pretty cool, and that's what we should push. You know, mainstream fashionable clothing, because they also use the designs that person made for the jersey on sweatshirts, t-shirts, hoodies, socks. Some of them even have painted shoes. Like, I think that stuff made by your local artist is what should be pushed, not this crap. Just unaffordable, like, pants that are like loose, lesser than one-ply toilet paper. $13,000 because they have the Gucci brand on them. Gucci, with an accent with the two C's. I don't know. Anyway, that's just the intro to what I'm talking about. Wanted to plug that real quick. Again, chewingonthewire.com. Underneath our photography alias, Portal 10 Lens. Scroll down and you'll see Unrinked. That's just the intro though, because what I'm actually here to talk about is we went to Detroit to do the thing, to do this thing, to get the jersey. We have just everything. We went for Hooper's birthday. Got some of the photos we're thinking about going to use with Pistons mascot Hooper. It's like we're throwing everything, throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks when it comes to this kind of candid, just living everyday life type of thing, you know, trying to do this kind of photography gallery type of thing. Trying to make it natural, you know, just, I wear a hockey jersey whenever I can, even just to work sometimes. So I just want to make it that kind of natural. But we were up in Detroit for a Pistons game. And as I'm deciding, you know, about time to leave type of thing, you know, I'm wrapping up what I got to do there, all my little side projects, all my whatever. And then I'm going up top. Going out of my seat. I was sitting on the lower bowl, walking up, going to, like, they have these suites right at the top of the lower bowl, if that makes sense. So I was walking up the stairs, going out onto the concourse, and before we can get to the concourse, just past where this, like, suite is, and there's a really weird, like, if you've been to Rocket Arena, I almost called it the wrong thing, the Romo Fijo. No, if you've been to Rocket Arena, their suites are like, you have to get into the suites on the suite level, but they're just right there on top of the lower bowl, and you have to, like, walk in level by them to get onto the concourse. It's like that, but you actually get into the suites on the lower level concourse. Like, there's a little walkway with people blocking it. Like, if you're in the lower level, go straight. If you're in a suite, take that same entrance, but go to the right or left. It's weird. So they stop us right by where the suite is, and they're not really saying anything. The guys, it's someone that's trying to get out of their seat in front of me was like, man, I really got to go to the bathroom, like, let us through, you know, and the guy working there's like, you're going to have to give us a second. Then I hear, one of the best sentences I think I've ever heard in my life. Someone from the suite that now, as I'm noticing my surroundings, the police are there, security's there, every usher you could possibly imagine is there, and I hear someone say, I think it was a guest, from in between the curtains where the suite is, she threw up because he whipped his private parts out. He whipped his dick out, basically. And I'm like, what? Like, trying to... Have you ever just been hit with so much information at once? It's kind of like, I waited for a break in action so I can go pee and go home. Because, like, I'm done for the night. Got my okay. Done for the night, you know. We're done. We're done. But then I'm getting stopped in an argument about throwing up in, like, this whole... And then as I'm putting two and two together, there's this dude with, like, 5 cops. Pants are slightly unzipped. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? So apparently, it seems as though what went on is this dude... This is really confusing because I don't understand if it's a shared suite. I don't really understand. This dude whipped it out, started going to town, whipped his dong out, started going to town, and some woman threw up. And they got 5 cops on one guy just for having his dong out after a Pistons dunk. After a Pistons duck. After a Pistons dunk. Pistons were winning. I probably would have done the same if I was crazy. Sadly, I'm not that crazy, but... So yeah, then we're waiting there because they're carrying this man out who's flailing, you know, trying to get out. Yeah, and it's... That's life, man. I don't know. That was a surreal... That was my Detroit moment, in my opinion. I have been to Detroit for a multitude of things. Multitude of concerts, baseball games, many, many, many hockey games within the same year. This was my first Pistons basketball game, though. And it finally happened. I got my surreal Detroit moment. After all this time. You would have thought it would have happened first, but, I mean, it's only a matter of time before you get someone jacking off because of the excitement of basketball in the city of Detroit. It's nothing like it, folks. As the Clevelanders always say, at least we're not Detroit. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to send you on to another break here. Here's another, hopefully another song, and hopefully not the same song for you. Alrighty then, welcome back. I don't have to say that every time, that's dumb. I gotta come up with something better to say. Alright, anyway. Welcome back. Now I've thrown myself off. Let me get all this crap going. So, something we did recently that we were talking about on the last show, all that good stuff. We recently went to see the second edition of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. This is hard for me to kind of, our resident Five Nights at Freddy's guy is obviously Donovan. Anytime anything comes up with the games, the books, the movies, he's the one you want to talk to. He knows the whole thing inside and out. I just kind of know it as a basic, like, I think I know the lore, I think I know the plot, but then there could be something, it's like, wait a minute, forgot that little detail, whatever. But then my thing is also horror movie reviews, as you know, because that's just my cup of tea from everything we've done here. The whole haunted house thing, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. So my honest review is I feel like I would give it a solid 5 or maybe 5.5 out of 10. I could be convinced to probably go up to 7 out of 10. That's so. In talking to Donovan about it, the plot continues to kind of just be thrown around. Like, I'm not gonna throw too many spoilers out there, but if you know the lore to the game, there is the whole, if I'm remembering this correctly, and I think this is what he told me, there's a point, like in the second half of the lore, or second game type of, where all the, like, animatronics, like, die in the one Freddy's pizzeria. That didn't happen in a pizzeria in the movie. It happened in someone's house. Like, it's just little things like that. Like, they're getting it, kinda. That's why I'd say it's a solid 5, because there are things that I, like, distinctly remember from being in the game. Like, when the night guard has to put the Freddy mask over his face, and all the animatronics believe it. Oh, that's not the night guard, that's the animatronic. But then Foxy doesn't. You know, it's like little things like that. Like, I'll always, they had that in the movie, and I remember things like that. But then again, it's just certain things they're doing just to make it a movie. You gotta have a beginning and an end, even if it's a cliffhanger. Gotta have a whole plot, and it's like, that lore is just almost never ending. So that's why I'm like, it's not, I wouldn't say it's bad. I wouldn't say it's the worst. Like, it's, with the plot all alone, I would say it's 5, 6, I'd go up to 7, 7 out of 10. Not perfect, because they keep adding crap and moving crap. It just doesn't, and, that's the whole, they're getting it all in there. Again, they're getting it all in there, but then it's a whole, I don't want to give a hell of a lot away, but how everyone thought Mike in the first movie was, like, Michael, what's his last name? Oh, God. The son of, oh, jeez, what's his name? Afton. How everyone was like, oh, that's the night guard, that's Michael, William Afton's son kind of thing. Nope. If you haven't been able to put it together from the first one, nope, different Michael. So we meet that Michael in the second one, now I'll give you that much. So it's just weird little things like that, like, almost like they're making sure they get the information in, the characters' names are correct, but then, like, it turns out for the first one, they had Michael as the night guard, but that was the wrong Michael. They made up a different Michael. That was the wrong. that was a different Michael they made for the plot. Like, it's just little things like that it's like, oh, this is why it's not really ever getting more than a 6. My first reaction was straight up a 5. When it comes to the scares and stuff like that, I honestly think this could be one of those movies that has some of these scares in those, how like Shudder and AMC and HBO does those like top 100, scares of the past however many years every so often. I feel like this could have some of those scares in one of those. They might be towards the back end, not number 1, but like the way they use these puppets is freaky as hell. It's like, especially the marionette. The way that thing moves is like, you can tell it isn't CGI and it's like in the room with you. And just the way its arms, because it has these long, lanky, arms and stuff. The way at the one point when it like rose out of this box and the girl was sitting underneath it and looked up and was like freaking out, the way it's just moved at the camera was like, oh my god, like, how with CGI it almost disappears into black once it like hits the camera, if you know what I mean, if you've slowed it down, if you've watched things like that. This doesn't do that. Just the closer it gets, it just becomes more of a shadow, and it's like on the camera and you can still see its face because it's not CGI. They're all puppets made by that Jim Henson Creature Shop there. But so that's why it's like a weird, just honest 5 or 6, just right. And I'm not gonna say 7, not gonna say 6, 7 thing, but it's like such middle of the road. Like, I almost think if they made the plot, it's hard to say fix the plot because like it is what happened in the game, just it's not in the right place, not with the right people, it's just little dinky details where I'm sure if you AI Googled plot of Five Nights at Freddy's as just a person, you'd be like, wow, that movie was really correct, it says the animatronics broke apart at the end of the second one. Yeah, that happened, type of things like that. But then, like, if you know it, it's like it didn't happen at someone's house, though. There weren't 2 Michaels. It's just like there's little things like that where it's like, all right, we're worrying about the plot of the movie more than the plot of the games type of thing. But that's why it's so just middle of the pack. It's not a bad movie. It's freaky. It's the right kind of freaky. And I'm stuck on some of those scares. That was awesome. Like, that was better than any CGI anything. That just the way everything moved. And seeing it on the screen and going, that's actually interacting with the person. That's not CGI. Is like also just a crazy thing. I enjoy it. I am a Five Nights at Freddy's movies enjoyer, just knowing that much. Like, because again, the reason I get into all this, the reason I like Terrifier and all that, is like when you're making haunted houses, which is what I did, have been doing, still do, you don't have the option to put CGI really. If you do, if it's one of those, someone's walking down a hall and at the end of the hall there's a video playing, they largely ignore it, and they've filled that out in our surveys when we, like one of the surveys to kind of, what'd you notice? What was your favorite part? They're like, what'd you think about the jump scare videos? And people were like, what videos? So it's like, when you're building that haunted house, you have to rely on practical effects. And that's what they freaking did. That's what I always say about Terrifier. That's what they do. It's real fake blood. They mess the scene up, real fake blood. There's no CGIing that. And that's why the plot could probably be as far from true as ever, possibly. And I'd enjoy this Five Nights at Freddy's movie because it's like all those creatures you see are real life puppets, animatronics, whatever they may be. Like, that's awesome. You're making this movie for real. That's how I have to make my immersive experiences. You're just filming one of those, basically. That's awesome. Like, so, yeah. That is also, I'd say, a warning too. Just if you're going to see it, there's going to be parts you remember from the game, and if you're a fan of the games and all that stuff, you'll recognize parts of the game, but then you have to be ready that it's like you might not realize what part of the game or what scene is happening until it's happening, because it's not happening in the right place or with the right people. You know, that's the only kind of weird thing there. But with that being said, we're almost done here. I'm going to throw another song on for you here, and then I'll be right back. Alrighty, and nope, I'm not gonna say welcome back. But you know what day it is? What day is it? Actually, I don't know. December 13th. And if you don't know what that means it is officially game day for Army and Navy. If you can't tell by what is currently being played in the background here... Oh, hold on, I gotta make sure I have everything turned on. If you can't tell, I don't know what is currently being played in the background here, we are very strongly in favor of Navy over here at the show, I think. I haven't asked Scott actually, but due to family ties and all that type of stuff, I am, well, and because I'm just not an idiot and Army sucks this year. This year specifically. Just, Navy's doing very well. Are they undefeated or only one loss for Navy there? Anyway, something like that. Yeah. So we're in the Navy boat. No pun intended. What was I saying? Oh, well, technically, with the family ties and just myself in general, we could have gone both ways, having family in the Army, the Marines, and then as one of my little volunteer projects and her little, I don't even remember what our teacher called it, but like community initiative things for the graphic design class I did in high school. I made business cards and like flyers that were actually posted in their recruiting base over here in Lakewood. And then I have some copies of the cards with me for both the Army and Navy recruiters. Because I was volunteering with the VFW my parents were a part of. And, graphic design school. We had to do something that was like pick a place in the community you could, like help out, blah, 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 your favorite church or whatever. And I'm like, what would be cool? Is I think there are a lot of cool things involved with, obviously, like, the military and stuff like that. So I was like, what if I did specialty cards for each like recruiter, and it was like, well, what did you do type of thing, you know what I mean? Like more than just being a recruiter, like were you gonna sound kind of like an idiot like this because limited knowledge here, but like, did you drive a tank? Did you do, like, because I can make your business cards kind of similar to that, or is there a specific design you want, and you can kind of have B-roll business cards, and, I made little, like, posters, and introduced QR codes to the Army. That was a big one that I'll never forget. It jokingly halfway, because I doubt it was because of me, but, they were always, like, they had weird, like, oddly long social media handles, like Instagram and stuff. It was, like, at Sergeant, then, like, their entire last name, and some of them were, like, long last names. I remember the one was, like, SCHEGLIEGI, and I'm like, what would be easier is if at the bottom of this poster you put 2 QR codes in either corner, and he's like, man, I'm not good with graphics. I don't know how to, like, draw one of those. I'm like, all right, dog. Thank you for your service, but like that was the dumbest comment I've ever made, dog. So, yeah, that was my call to so technically, I feel like I could go either way. Then I could go with Army or Navy because I introduced one of the most important. I'm trying to think of a fancy way to say this. One of the most important avenues of communication to the United States Army. I introduced the QR code. God, I gotta stick with that. I gotta make some lore for the bar later with that one. If anything ever pops up. Oh, I think, I don't know if these guys are included in that, but I was gonna say, how the NCAA was doing, like, any player that doesn't have, like, the major NIL deals can have, like, the Venmo QR code on the back of their helmet type of thing, just like Joe Blow walk-on can have that on there. People can donate or whatever. If the Army players have that, I should be like, who introduced that to the Army? I did. I invented the QR code. No, not actually, but imagine that. I gotta come up with some lore with that. Anyway, I'm gonna play you another song here. Right? Is it time? Yeah, it's about time to play another song and say, go Navy, beat Army. Just this year. I think. Alright, well, with that being said, I think that is all we have for today. I'm trying to cue you up one more good one more little funky thing we've been working on. I hope you are enjoying our, what do you call this, royalty-free music made by people around here, you know, not just anyone. Don't want to have anyone's royalty-free music. I would like to get some of those local producers that just, you know, trying something for the first time, being like, look what I could do with what just I make in my basement, you know. So we're gonna have one more good one for you here, and then I'm heading out, and I'll see you next week.